we're going to be looking at percentage and having a little bit of a refresher of percentages as decimals. And also we're going to look at how we find the percentage of a certain quantity. And then we're going to look at finding 100% if we're told what a smaller percentage is. And then I'm going to set you some work. Okay, so let's start by looking at percentage as a decimal. So when we're talking about percent, we're actually meaning per 100. So if we say we want 5% discount or we want 5% deposit made, then what we're actually talking about is we're saying we want $5 per $100. Okay, so 5% means 5 per 100. So for example, if we had 6%, we would be referring to 6 over 100 or 6 per 100, which would correlate to a decimal of 0.06. So all we're doing here is 6 divided by 100 gives us 0.06. So we've got 25% would be 0.25 as a decimal, 50% would be 0.5 as a decimal, 12% would be 0.12 as a decimal, 75% would be 0.75 as a decimal. So we're just dividing by 100 to convert our percentage into a decimal. Now when we want to find the percentage of a quantity, the first thing we're going to need to do is convert our percentage into a decimal and then multiply our decimal by the total. So if we're finding 20% of $150, the first thing we're going to do directly underneath is we're going to say, okay, 20% is a decimal of 0.2. Of always means multiply, so of means times, and 150 is the amount we're trying to find the percentage of. So 0.2 times 150 into your calculator or in your head if you can, gives us $30. So 20% of 150 is $30. Over here we have 15% of 270 and we've done exactly the same process. 15% becomes 0.15 multiplied by 270 to give us a final value of $40.50. Okay, so that's finding the percentage and converting from a percent to a decimal. Okay, one more thing we're going to look at today. And if you would like to pause me there and complete the questions on converting percent to a decimal and finding the percent of a certain amount, you can pause me and do those questions, or you can watch through to the end and then have a go at the questions. Totally up to you what method you want to use. So if we're finding 100% of an amount, so we are finding 100%. So we will be told what a certain percentage is. So if we are told that 30% is equal to 1500, we need to be able to say, okay, so if 30% is 1500, what would 100% of this amount actually be? So the first thing we need to do is we need to work out what 1% is. Okay, so what did we do here to go from 30% to 1%? We divided by 30. So we need to do the same over here. We need to divide this guy here by 30. So 1% is in fact going to be equal to $50. Okay, so we've gone from knowing what 30% is, we now know what 1% is, and from 1% we can find out what 100% is. So over here we are now going to go 100% is equal to. So what are we doing from 1% to get to 100? We're going to multiply by 100. And if we do that here, we also need to do it over here. So we end up with 5,000 is our 100% value. So in this scenario, we were told that if 30% is 1,500, what's the full amount? Well, the full amount is 5,000. Okay, one more of these and then I will let you do some practice of your own. Okay, so this scenario here, we are finding 100% if 13% is equal to 416 kilograms. Okay, so this one here, we're going to use exactly the same method as we did up here. Okay, so we've got 13% and we want to work out what 1% is. So what do we need to do? We need to divide by 13. So let's do that, 13. And of course we need to keep everything balanced. We're going to divide both sides by 13 and we find that 1% is in fact 32 kilograms. Okay, next thing, we want to find out what 100% is. So we are going to multiply by 100 to find 100%. And so we're going to do that over here as well. And we all know that if we multiply by 100, we just add 2 zeros on. So we can do that pretty easily. 3,200 kilograms. Okay, so some revision for you for percentage. This might be new for you. It might be bringing back memories of previous years. Nevertheless, you need to complete the work set on sector for percentages. There are also a couple of tasks in Mangahai that I would like you to have a look at. And you need to be able to have this foundation so that we can move forward with our costings and calculation lessons in the next couple of days. Okay, thanks guys. See you for now.